Hey guys, it's Rufus. In this video, I'm making the argument that Kanal is a competitive site, and a lot of people, they don't like Kanal, but I think it's really an underrated map just because people don't understand how to play it well. Before you have any pretenses though, hear me out and look at it from an analytical point of view, because what would you consider a competitive map? If it's a balanced map, I consider it to be a competitive map, and Kanal, that is certainly a balanced map. So this video, it could also be described as the case for Kanal being balanced. So to explain why Kanal is a balanced map and thus a competitive map, I need to go over some concepts first. So number one, as we all know, Kanal has two areas of the map separated by the two bridges, right? You've got the west side and the east side. So just by looking at the map, you can quickly figure out that map. And you could even go as far as to say that the west side is defender sided and the east side is attacker sided. Look at the west side. You have a few viable entry points. You could try to enter reception, white stairs, scuba, trench, printer, or through either of the three windows on this side of the map. But no matter where you decide to push, if you choose to push on the west side of the map, they're all going to be tough to push if a defender is ready for you to push where you're pushing. So it's going to be very difficult to get into the building if somebody else is ready. Now look at the east side. You have this entire wall that you could just breach open with a doorway right next to it, also with a couple walls that you could breach open. Alternatively though, you could use one of the three doorways or one of the many windows on this side of the map, which is just way more than what is even on the west side. So it's because of all of these entry points that exist on the east side of the map, especially that double wall that can be accessed from outside. Just the fact that that exists is what makes the east side of the map so attacker sided. And that's why if you're going to push the west side of the map, the easiest way is to start by entering the east side of the map and to use both of the sky bridges to start pushing in from printer and the lower sky bridge, while also having people pushing into reception as you start to make way into the building. But if you just were to push into reception and other windows and doorways on that side of the map, then you would have an immense amount of difficulty just getting into the building if you were, say, attacking the basement site or Coast Guard on Kanal. You've also got to notice that the attackers even have the ability to enter the east side of the map from below, which is something that just does not exist on the west side of the map, because below the basement on the west side of the map is nothing but concrete. Below the first floor site on the east side of the map, security, the map area, that is a garage that the attackers can access, and the attackers can push up into this doorway at the red stairs. And you've also got all these windows that the attackers can utilize from the garage area. So really, when you look at the east side of the map, you can see why it's so difficult to defend and why I would consider the east side very attacker sided, because it most definitely is. The server radar site, even though people always pick it, it's the most difficult site to defend. But in other words, the west side of the map, it's just built different in a way that's quite good for the defenders, and the east side of the map is also built quite different in a way that is not very good for the defenders. But now that I've explained the basics of Kanal structure, how does this exactly prove why Kanal is balanced? Well, this information alone does not prove that Kanal is a balanced map, but when you play all four sides, it does become quickly apparent that the two sides on the west side of the map are defender sided, and the two sides on the east side of the map are attacker side. Naturally though, this conclusion makes sense just based on how the west and east side of the map are shaped. You can clearly see that the west side of the map is going to be a bit more defender sided, and that the east side of the map is going to be a bit more attacker sided. You don't really even need to play the map to see that. And based on that information, you can deduce that Kanal is a pretty balanced map, because if there are four sites and two of them are attacker sided and the other two are defender sided, then that's pretty much the definition of a balanced map. That's exactly what you want a competitive map to be. But despite the clear fact that Kanal is a balanced map, most people hate on Kanal because they don't understand it. They constantly shoot themselves in the foot by choosing the only site on the map with a wall connecting to the outside. And look, if every time I played Villa I chose living room library as my first site and never chose Aviator Games, I probably wouldn't like Villa much either. But still, despite all logic, a lot of people, they truly just don't like Kanal because of those two bridges, which is stupid, because some even say the Kanal's not competitive just because it has those two bridges separating each side of the site. And I disagree with this statement because of all the reasons mentioned earlier, but just because someone doesn't like an aspect of a map doesn't mean that the map is bad or not competitive. It doesn't make any sense to discredit a map just because you don't like some aspect of it, and I personally find that Kanal's design creates quite an interesting gameplay experience that is just simply unmatched by any other map in the game, because Kanal, it truly is a unique map that's balanced, and that's the reason I like it, because it's unique, it's balanced, and there's not really any stratting out or experimentation that is done by anybody on this map, so it's still a fresh map. There's so much that can be learned about it, and if it was in Pro League, we would learn so much about it. I always like to experiment on this map, Kanal, and I've done so a lot with the Coast Guard site, playing that site, and some people have figured out that the Coast Guard site is good, but most of them haven't, which is exactly why so many people hate the map, because they just don't know anything about it. And that's exactly why Kanal should be in competitive right now in Pro League. It would be an entirely new experience. The gameplay would be totally unique, and it would be super easy to observe Kanal, because think about it, most of the time everybody's on one side of the map, and it would be pretty easy to do your job as an observer compared to, say, Theme Park, which is just a big open map where you would have many different areas that the observer might have to look at one point in time, and so you might not be able to get all the action in a round. In fact, you most likely won't. However, with Kanal, you've just got two sides and two bridges in between them. You just look at one side, and that's where 99% of the people are going to be. You might have one person that's on the other side of the map, but in the vast majority of circumstances, people are always going to be concentrated on that one side of the map. Another statement I've heard people say arguing against Kanal as a competitive map was also once again in relation to the sky bridges. A friend of mine, they said that you couldn't cross the map if the attackers cut you off, so the map was therefore unbalanced and bad. Now obviously that's not very logical, because who knows, the attackers might not always be holding an angle cutting off sky bridge. There's two sky bridges. They might not always be devoting two attackers towards holding off angles. So if you decide to go on the other side of the map, you got to understand there's that risk. You might have your rotations cut off, and that is what roam clearing is on every other map in the game. So get used to it, figure out how to adapt, because not liking a feature or design is not a good enough reason to just give up and throw your hands in there and throw a fit like a little bitch. So that's all I've got to say. Case closed. Ubisoft, if you're listening, please put Kanal into Pro League. It will be better than watching the same maps for years. I don't mind watching Clubhouse every once in a while, but I would much rather watch Kanal right now. So thanks for watching, and while you're here, please hit the like and subscribe button, and please do let me know what videos you want to see next. But besides that, feel free to check out the description for a link to my Discord server, and that's all. Have a good one, everybody.